Hey guys, welcome back to MJ Gooner Podcast right here for the MJ Gooner Talk. And of course, weekly wrap for you guys. I'm recording on a Saturday. Sunday, I usually upload the episode, or usually I record on a Sunday. But tomorrow, I have a very busy schedule tomorrow, so I cannot be able to do that. Instead, I am just going to record today on a Saturday night right here in Canada, Vancouver, Pacific time. So not much activity going on as of right now, but certainly this week from the last time we recorded till now, it's definitely one of the best days. I would say one of the best days as an Arsenal fan in the Emirates era, especially in the summer. I mean, the fact that we made two signings, of course, we will get into it. The signing of Declan Rice and also Jurgen Timber. That's how you pronounce his name, with the Y in front instead of a J. Jurgen Timber. I'll go into that. But later on, we have quite a lot of contract extensions going on. Of course, one significant, departure within the Arsenal squad, Granit Xhaka, which I will go over that later. But instead, right now, let's go to our first agenda. One of the biggest agendas so far in the transfer window. We have made our second and third signing, not quite official yet, but pretty much very soon to be official in the next couple of days. First one is Declan Rice, of course. I think on Wednesday it's on Tuesday. Tuesday or Wednesday. Finally, here we go from Fabrizio Romano. 105 million finally with an agreed fee and also an agreed payment structure as well. The fee has been agreed for a week and a half pretty much. But again, we were having a little bit of a trouble or disagreement with West Ham in terms of the payment structure. I think Arsenal wanted to pay 5 installments over the next 5 years, but West Ham want a much quicker payment. They want all the money to be in the bank by the time it's 2025. Is it 2024, 2025, something along the line like that? But of course, it's a big difference because I know Arsenal love to pay in installment, if I remember correctly. Pepe was a 5-year installment, if I remember correctly. I think Arsenal has still been paying like 15 million to Nice. I'm not quite sure if that's still the case at the moment. But Declan Rice again, 3-year installment or 18 months installment. My mistake. So pretty much every 6 months. Arsenal has to pay, oh my god, here's the math, isn't it? 25 million, I think? I think they're paying 25 million at the moment currently. If I hope I remember all my sources, but I'm sure I might be a little bit wrong, but I know it's an 18-month installment. Don't mind me about the math, but I'm sure we're paying 25 million, every 6 months or something. I might be wrong, but let me know if I'm wrong or correct. But certainly this is one of the statement signing. A lot of people say that this signing is pretty much similar to Sol Campbell joining from Spurs back in 2002 summer. I was 3-year-old. But again, Declan Rice, a very, very good player. Not sure if he actually cost 105 million in total in a package. But of course, there's English tax in there, so we just have to kindly disregard that. But Arsenal needs a player like him. I don't know where he's going to play. I don't know if he is going to be a number 6, number 8. I was watching a highlight of Declan Rice of 2022 season and also a little bit of his pass as well. He is definitely very good at carrying the ball, driving the ball forward, carrying the ball, I believe, in 2021. The game against Arsenal, I believe that game we drew 3-3. There was one play where he dispossessed us and went on and gone for an incredible drive, incredible carry to our opposite, to our box. And he took a shot, of course. He doesn't score a lot of goals, which is, again, I don't think that will be an issue. But based on what I'm seeing right there, if Mikel Arteta signed him for a reason, I believe he is going to play as a number 8 because that's exactly how we want Granit Xhaka to be at times, where you got a little bit of a pace, you're able to drive the ball forward and carry the ball for what 30, 40, 60 yards. And that's what Declan Rice is very good at. But I'm happy, honestly. I'm happy we got the signing. A lot of people think it's overpriced, might be a little bit, but if he is Mikel Arteta signing, Mikel Arteta won him for a very long time, and certainly he has been in Arteta's mind for the past few months. I mean, if Arteta won him, I trust my manager, then I want him as well. So Declan Rice will be pretty much our second signing, but I think at the moment we're just waiting for the official announcement. I believe his medical was yesterday, Friday afternoon. Not much news about that. I believe Timber arrived first, then Declan Rice, but I'm sure both of their medical are going to be passed very soon. But even though if medical doesn't pass, I believe Declan Rice will still be an Arsenal player. He will still be wearing that Arsenal shirt by the end of next week. But I'm sure he is going to be wearing that famous red and white jersey for Arsenal on Monday or Tuesday. That's what I'm hoping for. Second player that was a here we go from Fabrizio Romano. I believe it was 12 hours apart between Declan Rice, here we go, and also Jurrien Timber's here we go. And of course, I believe 40 million guarantee fee, and also 5 million add-on, very realistic add-on according to Romano, and also David Ornstein as well. We got to give credits to both amazing journalists. I think those two journalists are the only journalists where I actually do believe in them. Tier 1 source to me. But Jurrien Timber, again, I honestly didn't quite know who he was before. And I did a little bit more research onto his profile, his playing style, his highlights, videos, everything, just trying to understand this player. This guy is amazing. Fast, even though he's 5'10", playing as a center back area, but apparently Arteta sees him as an opposite of Zinchenko, except Jurrien Timber will be moving to the right back area, to that inverted role. But it will be very, very interesting to see how Arsenal defense are going to be in the next season, because right now we have possibly one of the most versatile team in the world. And of course, adding more value into the team, I believe right now Arsenal team worth $1 billion. I believe they're the second most valuable team in the world right now. You just gotta love that. You just gotta love what Arteta has been building, especially at the back as well. I mean, when you look at the right back area, who can play there? Timber, Ben White, Tomiyasu. 3 players can actually sit in that area. And even, fourth choice, Thomas Partey, if he stays. But I don't know who's going to start. I don't know who's going to be a regular. I heard Ben White might be moving back to a right center back area, and Tomiyasu will be the main backup for Jurrien Timber, or vice versa. I'm not quite sure how that's going to work. And here's Saliba extending the contract. And Gabriel, Big Gabby, I believe a few months ago, did extend his contract. And you have Kivior as well, who's a young, promising player from Poland. And on the left side, you can have Zinchenko playing there, Kieran Tierney playing there. But even though Kieran Tierney is not quite of a player that kind of fits into our system, but I'm sure if he wants to stay, definitely there's a spot for him. And Tomiyasu can play there as well, and even Kivior can play there as well. I mean, when you look at the depth right there, we have that. And also, don't forget about Rob Holding. He can actually play center back as well, but will be the third or fourth choice, which is fine. If you play a Carabao Cup against a very small team, like a local team, yeah, of course you can put Holding in, but in general, Champions League game probably just want to avoid them. Rumors has it, Rob Holding might be leaving this summer, either on a loan deal or a permanent deal. Actually, I want to talk about the outgoing later, but pretty much it. Timber, not not the tallest, not pretty good at aerial, aerial defense, but it's fine. Possession wise, he can break the line. Possession wise, he keep the ball very well, retain the ball very well. And if, like I said, if Arteta wants him into the Arsenal team, I would want him as well. Keep it that way. And yeah, that's pretty much what the incoming, the confirm incoming, but not quite confirmed, but we're pretty much there. But one big departure that everybody was anticipating, and I believe last week, uh, we heard something that Shaka might not be going. Turns out, right after Timber's deal, within the next 24, 48 hours, it was officially announced that Granit Xhaka has left the club for 25 million, I believe, or 21.5 million, but I believe it was 25 million. Was it euro, something like that? That was a much better offer compared to 15. I mean, honestly, Granit Xhaka, he's 30 euro. He's not like 35, 36. He's still worth quite a lot, to be honest, based on how his career, how his season went on for the past few years. He definitely had more value than just 15 million euros. But even though he goes, which is quite, we actually quite, it's quite sad about it. But at least we got that money back. A little bit of a value. I believe we signed him for 35 million, somewhere around that. So he lost only 10 million, which is, again, sound reasonable, looks reasonable. But again, a good fee for him. It's pretty much the best for every party. Of course, those 25 million could eventually ease up a little bit in terms of how we're going to spend towards the end of the season. And Granit Xhaka, again, of course, I used to bash him every week in and week out. A few years ago, well, before the incident, the infamous incident, even a few games after or the season after, I still bash him a little bit. But for the past couple of years, he has been a revelation. He completely changed in terms of the way how he played. He adapted the role number 8 pretty well, of course, except that he's not as attacking minded as other players that we want him to be. But technical wise, leadership skill, defensive wise, he is probably one of the best players in the last 2 years, to be honest. But I would classify him, I will still see him as an Emirates legend. In a way, Arsenal legend. He is the captain without the armband. Eventually, it's quite sad that knowing he is leaving, because I think the fact that he brought us back to the Champions League, I felt like he deserved to play a little bit instead. But you know what? If another team knock on the door for him, the project it's right for him. Plus, we get a pretty sizable fee for him. Then you know what? It's okay to move on. And Granit Xhaka, a great servant to the club, proper leader, a big inspiration to a lot of players within the clubhouse and also to a lot of fans as well. He completed the impossible redemption arc. And I just love him. You know what? I genuinely do love him. So after that, contract extension. Reece Nelson was the first one who was announced, of course. He was a free agent for a few days, but there were no doubts that Arsenal were going to tie him up for another 4 years. And Reece Nelson, again, he was the original star boy. He was supposed to be like Bukayo Saka, but injuries and also his form weren't quite there or didn't quite work out. And there are moments where Arsenal are looking to sell him. I didn't want to sell him because I was watching his debut in the 2017 season. I didn't want him to leave at all. I felt like there's a player in him. I wanted Mikel Arteta to trust him. And honestly, I think he's a very good player. But, at one point, he's a right midfielder. He's a right winger. and the fact that Arteta wants a left-footed, right winger, which doesn't quite suit uh, Mikel's, doesn't quite suit his profile, which is fine. But somehow, last season, if you have to look to the bench and find a player or spot a player or want somebody to go onto the pitch and make a difference, that would be Reece Nelson. I think he is that type of player. We know he did a great performance against Nottingham Forest. Came off of Bukayo Saka, who went off very early, and later on he scored 2 goals and an assist. Right later on, the Bournemouth game was probably one of the game of the season last season, or even game of the season for the past 10 years, I think. Came on, provided an assist and also a winner. And those moments, you need players like that come off the bench and do that, and he can do that as well. He might not be every week starter, but he can definitely, when every time he come on, there is something in him. And of course, I still want him to find that player in him. Find that the potential in him. Find the player that everybody thought he was going to be, like Bukayo Saka. We still believe in him. He's 23-year-old still, so he still has time. And I believe signing him for another 4-year contract, it's a it's a very, very good investment by Edu. Second extension, which was announced yesterday, William Saliba has extended 4 years. Not quite sure if there's an option to extend for a further year or not. But right there, ladies and gentlemen, I mean, Saliba, at first I was a little bit worried that Arsenal might not be able to tie him down for a new deal. I believe he was sitting with 40K a week before the extension. And then they offer 120K. Honestly, it didn't quite, doesn't sound right to me, right? I in the end, I don't know how much he earned, but definitely way higher. I think 180 or 200, something like that. But the fact that when you hear Saliba's earning 120K or might be earning 120K, similar as Eddie, but the fact that Saliba has been an integral part of the Arsenal squad last season. Gabriel Jesus, he did an interview, a podcast with one of the Brazilian, local football podcasts. Even he said it. Even Jesus said it. The whole season fell down or went down was pretty much Saliba's injury. I mean, it does make sense, right? I mean, Rob Holding did very well for the 2 games that he substituted for Saliba. The game against Crystal Palace, Leeds United. You can honestly put Rob Holding there, but Liverpool away, West Ham away, or in a game like in those games, right? You need Saliba there. And honestly, he deserved to get that contract extension. I'm happy he is staying. Definitely, I hope he is going to come back from his injury very soon, because we got to start the season with him. Has to be him. And yeah, I'm happy. I mean, best week for Arsenal, isn't it? I mean, not quite of a news for Granit Xhaka leaving, but we made 2 revelation signings, 2 contract extensions, and of course, last week or a few days ago, Arsenal squad is officially back. Everybody is back for the assessment, testing their whatever their body fat, their fitness in general, which is fine. Loving it. I mean, everybody was pretty much back. Cedric is back. I mean, a lot of players who went on loan last season are back. Austin Trusty is back. Flo Balogun is back as well. I mean, rumors going around. He cost Arsenal won 50 million from him, but honestly, I really do want Balogun to at least impress Arteta in the preseason, and hopefully keeping him and make him to be part of the squad. I just want it to be like that. And what else do I want to talk about? And yesterday, Arsenal played friendly against Watford behind closed door. We drew 1-1. Marquinhos with the goal, and also Pablo Mari. Did we talk about Pablo Mari last week? I believe we didn't. Again, it's gone for 6 or 7 million after Monza stayed up, which triggered the obligation to buy. And Pablo Mari, the first signing for Mikel Arteta, did well enough, to be honest. I don't think there's anything wrong, but again, it's just that the squad just evolves so fast to the point where players like him, who was in the club 2-3 years ago, has to go. Oh well, I mean, is that it for today? Is there any more things to talk about? I don't think so. All I know is that the squad are back. Bukayo Saka is back as well. Hopefully everybody's injury free. There are a few more players are on vacation, but they'll be back soon. Emil Smith Rowe won the U21 national championship game, something like that. Well, hopefully Smith Rowe is going to participate a little bit in the U.S. tour. Certainly, Arsenal do need him as soon as possible. And Kai Havertz wearing the Arsenal trainer today. Thank God, looks beautiful on him. He looks like a red and white person to me instead of a blue person. Oh, and there's a few departures in the staff room members. Steve Round, the assistant manager for Arsenal, has left in mutual consent. That came a little bit of a shocker. I wasn't quite expecting any staff changes in the summer, especially when we are going for another exciting season. You want to keep the same staff members as before, maybe add a few as well. But Steve Round, I wasn't quite. I just, I was a little bit speechless. Who is going to be the assistant manager for Arsenal? Might be Santi Cazorla. Right now he's a free agent. And Arteta did say that he wants Cazorla to be back in the backroom staff. We even signed him for a deal. I hope Mikel is going to do that. At least we can see Cazorla one more time in the Arsenal shirt playing instead of being injured. And also Gary, I know his first name only. His last name, I'm not quite sure how you pronounce it, so I'm just going to call him Gary. Arsenal head of physio. It's going to Manchester United. Ooh, that's a painful one. I mean, he's a very popular amongst the staff, the players, but I mean, Arsenal head of medical, head of physiotherapist, physiology. It's gone to a rival club. Apparently he's going back there, moving back there for his family. Fair play. It's fine, but Arsenal just need to find a substitution for this guy. So yeah, that's pretty much it for today's podcast. Hope you guys enjoy. And of course, by the time I record the next podcast, next Saturday or Sunday, we will get to finally see Declan Rice and also Urine Timber in that famous red and white jersey. I just can't wait. And of course, hopefully we are going to hear more transfer links, more from other players as well. I mean, I'm sure this is not the end for the transfer window for Arsenal. I'm sure there is still a signing or two more. I just can't wait. I mean, I believe we have a friendly game on Thursday against Nuremberg, the German side. Hopefully we are going to play that game. I believe we won 6-3 last time, 6-3, 6-2, 5-2, something like that. Hopefully injury free from all the players. But we will see, and thank you guys for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and I'll see you guys in a bit.